Welcome back to Oblivion, everyone. My name is Dusty Lane,
I'm Jason Mitchell.
and we are the Cenobites. We are joined today by actress Jasmine Kheen, fresh off the R.I.P. Man. How's it going, Jasmine?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, we literally just watched this movie the other night. We loved it. Curious, let's just get right into it. How was your experience on set? What were the vibes like? How was it working with Jamie and Reese and Christian and everybody?
It was incredible. It was my first feature film, actually. So I was just so excited to be a part of it. And the script was so well written. And Jamie and Reese are both lovely to work with. They've worked in the industry for years and years, so they really know what they're doing. And not only do they know what they're doing, they're also just such lovely people to be around, and the whole cast
Right.
and crew were just incredible. So yeah, it's really surreal that it's out and it's done. I haven't actually gotten to see it yet because I was shooting when the
Oh,
premiere
Okay.
was happening.
oh, that's right. You did
So
mention. I did see that. That's unfortunate.
yeah, I was very unfortunate. I was looking forward to it so much. Everyone had been working on it for so long and working so hard on it. So, but I'm hoping I get to see it soon.
Right.
How did you guys find it?
We definitely enjoyed it. I knew already, like we've had the pleasure of being acquainted with Jamie for, oh, I don't know, a little over a year now or so.
Right.
We had Megan on a couple of times talking about The Cellar and whatnot, and I was immediately impressed when I was watching The Cellar, for instance. It just the idea that it's an indie movie, my brain doesn't want to accept that because it just does not look like any indie movie I've seen. Like the cinematography is top notch and it looks like, big budget studio productions I've seen, and it's really impressive. And they're all really great people too.
No, 100%. I think when you've been in the industry for a while and like they again like they really know what they're doing with things, I think you can make so much out of a smaller crew, a smaller budget, and it's all got to do with creativity and techniques.
Right.
And I feel like they've really found a way to hone that in and to make the most out of what they have. And that's also what's so incredible about the horror genre, because it lends to this or you have so much room to play
Yeah.
um with horror.
I've mentioned a few times. Obviously, we love horror. We are a horror podcast. That's our bread and butter. Um, since I was a kid, I've always felt that horror had a power that other genres don't, and it's able to do. I feel like objectively, almost, horror is pound for pound the best genre money can buy because it can do everything that all the other ones can. You can have a horror movie that has a love story. You can have one that's suspenseful. You can have one that's funny. All these elements thrown into one movie. And I feel like most of the time, if you're talking about an action movie, it's just going to be action packed. If you're talking about a drama, there's going to be a lot of drama. But horror can, dip into all those other genres and bring about a really beautiful project at the end of it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of nuances to different genres for sure, but with horror, maybe it's not as restrained by rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like the rules of reality aren't really there.
Yeah.
So like in sci-fi or horror, but sci-fi is a little hard to do on a lower
Right.
budget, but I feel like the horror genre lends itself to everyone, where it's like you can be creative and you can have crazy things happening and you can have
Yeah.
really real and raw moments and relatable feelings and situations, and some situations that are not so relatable, but
Right.
you can still
That's another
find
cool.
emotions and characters that you can relate to. Yeah.
Exactly. That's another cool aspect of it is just the edginess that comes along with it too. Like there's always going to be something
Yeah.
you kind of, you're anticipating something to happen around every corner. Would you say that you prefer the horror genre? Like in whatever you're doing, whether it's acting, directing, do you seek out horror above other genres?
Yeah, I think horror is like a genre that I've grown up with.
Yeah.
And that I've grown up loving. I remember me and my one friend in like fifth grade or something would find like online horror video shorts and stuff and just like show it to our friends and scare the living shit out of them. And we'd always like tell each other spooky stories. And I don't know what that says about us as kids, but we had a lot of fun with it and we really enjoyed it. And it's definitely something, a genre that I've enjoyed growing up. The only thing is, in the last 2 years, I've started having these really bad nightmares. And so my friend told me to get off the horror movies. But
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was the accomplice of it. And I don't think it has been, because I've kind of like rain off them, but
Yeah, that's
they're
not
still
the answer. It's
happening.
called
So
immersion therapy. You need to expose yourself to it. That's the only thing that's going to get you through it.
right, exactly. That's what I tried to tell them. They were like, "No, Jasmine, you need to get off the horror movies." And I was like, "Ah, damn it! So I have to watch comedy now. I have to watch like
Oh,
happy stuff now.
not that
No,
there's anything wrong with that. But
no,
we
of course
talked
not."
about a little bit of your background. We talked about the acumen that, people like Jamie and Reese bring to the table in a project like this. But
Mm.
as far as where you got your start, it looks like you have a Bachelor of Honors in Screen Acting from Met Film School. But I also noticed you were taught aspects of filmmaking, and it looks like that was not just in an effort to understand your role as an actress better, but you seem to have aspirations for roles behind the camera as well as in front of it. You've got a few directing and editing credits to your name. Do you have a preference between those tasks, or do you feel like they allow you to explore different facets of your creativity?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it because in acting, you get to be very creative and it is very logical and you're thinking a lot. But at the same time, it's nice to do roles where you don't even have to think about the creative aspect of it sometimes. You put that to the side and just focus solely on the planning and like the coming together of a film. And I didn't really have much clue about everything that goes on behind the
Mhm.
making of a film until I started that degree. I moved here to London when I was 18 and I started that. And it really opened up my eyes to filmmaking and everything that goes on behind the camera as well. Because we had
Mhm.
to do our own productions. And so I found myself producing and first assistant directing a lot. And that was not very easy to do with a group of like 20 actors who did not want to do crew jobs. All they wanted to do was act
Right.
sometimes. So it was definitely like a tough task, but I found that I really quite enjoyed it. And so now I work for a producer called Alexandra Marte, and we're currently working on a couple of feature films and a studio that we're opening in the Middle East. So
Okay.
I'm definitely looking to produce more in the future. While acting is where my passion is, I think anything with film just really excites me.
Mhm.
And so I'm excited to explore more of the production side as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
very cool. We see that some of your previous projects include several shorts, including Why I Hate Birthdays, Last Night, Heart of Stone, and The Black Pill. We see a couple of mini series. Um, Royal Highness is in there, as well as an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. This being a horror podcast, we had our particular interest in the Suspiria short you not only acted in, but also directed. Can you fill us in about that a little bit?
Sure, of course. Yeah, I mean that was my one of my graduation projects at uni. And we all sort of like came to the end of the degree and realized none of us had showreels. And so we were all kind of stressing out, being like, what are we gonna do? So what most of us did is that we put together like everyone would film like 2 to 3 scenes to have a showreel. And so for me, I kind of wanted to try and make it like little short films instead
Mhm.
of just scenes or like something that just focus very much on the beginning, middle, and end of a story and try to
Mhm.
make something like a really short story. And so Suspiria by Argento is my favorite film ever. I think it's so genius. It's so beautiful visually. Um, and the soundtrack is just so hauntingly gorgeous and unique.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do something with Suspiria because it's a type of film that I would love to be in, this kind of art house horror film. And so I took the script of the new Suspiria movie because I hadn't seen it at the time, and I didn't want to take something that I already knew. And then I slightly like rewrote the scene.
Mhm.
And then we did that for my graduation project.
Mm. Okay.
Um, which was very fun. It was very fun. It was a challenge for sure, but it was really fun to set up sort of the environment of the ballet school, and I got like like a ballet bar.
Hmm.
Is that what it's called in English?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Too young.
yeah, exactly. Because I used to do a little bit of ballet as well when I was younger, so it just like brought back a lot of memories. And if we had more time, I would have loved to like incorporate more of that aspect
Right.
into it. But it was really fun getting to play with different colored lighting and
Oh,
stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a huge part of, like you said, Argento and a lot of that, the Giallo films from Italy. And I notice a lot of that in Jamie's work as well, both in The Cellar and The R.I.P.
Mm,
I really love it. I love the just the dramatic aspect that that brings to the table. I mean, you can see our wall behind us kind of has the same thing going on, but like, yeah, the angles as
It
well
looks
play into
amazing.
it. And thank you. And no, I think that that really lends something to, it's there's a difference in filmmaking between putting a camera in a room and, preparing your room that you plan on filming first. And it looks like a lot of love and time and attention has gone into every scene, in both of these movies.
Oh, 100%. I think with what you said about the lighting as well and Jamie's work, I think my favorite scene that we did was the birthday scene.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was because of the fun lighting that was in it, and I just think it looks so fun. Like you can be so creative with it,
Right,
and yeah, and I love when filmmaking isn't constrained to a certain thing, and I guess the sort of party setting made that also more viable or like more usable, I guess, the different colored lightings. But I just think it was so well put together, and they've done such a great job.
right.
Right. So we learned that R.I.P. Man is your first feature film. Did you encounter any challenges tackling this project versus the shorts that you're experienced with?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think it was really fun to finally get to have some time with a character
Mhm.
because a lot of the time with these shorts, you have a few days here, and then you're done. And so it's like you can do all this prep, but you don't get to really stay with the character or explore the character for a very long time unless it's a short that you work on for a longer amount of time, which I just did in June. Um, but so I think my biggest challenge with this shoot was the fact that we were shooting really scattered. So we'd shoot one day in October, and then we did 2 or 3 days in January
Mm.
next.
Wow.
And then we did a day or two in February or March. And then that was sort of like it for me. And I had other projects in between, and some of them were like vertical dramas, if you've heard of
Mm.
them,
Yeah, yeah.
which are really silly, over the top. But they're really fun because you can sort of treat them as an acting exercise. But there was a couple of times in January where I would go on my day off from a vertical shoot to film the R.I.P. Man. And it was really odd because I found myself almost struggling to not do the vertical acting. And I had, no, it was really bad because I had Jamie tell me, like, Jasmine, you don't need to force your reactions. And I was
Right.
like, oh, fuck. Fuck, I'm literally doing my vertical thing right now where you have to be like, just do everything and be over the top.
Mm.
Um, so that was probably like the biggest challenge of picking up where I left it and sort of remembering where we were at. But Jamie was a really good help in that
Right.
as well.
I noticed that you've got some background in martial arts and dance as well. Do you have any plans to incorporate that into your craft, whether that be action films in the future or projects that require a little more physical discipline?
Oh, 100%. I think certain horror movies, you definitely need some more physical fighting and stuff. And I definitely want to do either horror or sci-fi or action in the future where I get to use those skills because I do think it's really fun.
Right.
I just did a short film in Paris in June where I was about a dancer. And I got to like do this contemporary realistic dance, and it was so nice. It was so fulfilling getting to use that skill again.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me how much I get out of it creatively.
Right.
So I think that's definitely something I want to keep doing and exploring and incorporating into my future projects that I want to make.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, something I have to ask. The info that we found sounded like you were born in Norway, but you live in London, but your
Yeah,
accent presents heavily as American, is what we've noticed.
Yeah.
really.
So we were just wondering if that was an accident or how that kind of came about, or if maybe it's something to do with, you pursuing acting, if
Is
maybe you're more marketable that
Right.
way
Did
even.
that just come out naturally, or because I thought the same thing. Like we're sitting there watching the R.I.P. Man, you're surrounded by people with very, understandably British accents, and then
Hmm.
all of a
Mm.
sudden here you are, just an apparent Midwesterner, just hanging out. Like is she like an exchange student or something? What are we watching here? But I like, have you ever been to the States and spent any time here?
I'm actually no, I've never been to the States. So I was born in Norway, and then I lived in Spain during my teen years, and then I came here. I think there are like two main factors as to why I sound the way I do, I think, because my tutors growing up, we learned English from a very young age in Norway from when we're like six.
Mm,
Um,
Okay.
and all my tutors had British accents and everything growing up. And I went to a British college in Spain. So like I've been around British more, but
mm.
I loved watching like Minecraft Let's Plays when I was a kid. And so I learned a lot of my English off of watching IS Cupquake on YouTube.
Got it.
So like I think picking up charms from that and from TV shows because like nothing is dubbed in Norway. We have like everything subtitled so you hear the
Mm,
English. And then
right.
also I got to a point when I was at that British college in my teens, I was like, okay, I know I want to pursue acting at some point. My accent is Norwegian, British. American. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to choose to lean either British or American and try to just lean into that. And I felt like my accent naturally was more towards the American anyway.
Yeah.
And also, I want to be in American movies, you know.
Right.
So you just spent a
You
lot of time in the
know,
mirror going, circle up the wagons, pilgrim.
like 10 hours a day, 10 hours
Yeah.
a day.
All
No, but
right. Well,
it's actually really tough now because I'm working on a British accent now with an accent coach, and it's so tough
oh,
because they
you're
have
going
so many
backwards.
weird sounds. I have to, I'm being forced. It's
Right,
not my
right,
choice.
Right.
right. No, not that there's anything wrong with that at all. But tell you what, let's dig into the
No, of
R.I.P.
course.
Man a little bit.
Yeah.
So first of all, we were both very impressed with the movie. The overall production, we know Jamie and the crew does amazing work. They elevate their projects to a level higher than any indie film has any business being, in my opinion. But specifically about your character, Clarissa Staunton, right? You were a part of the main friend group slash targets of the R.I.P. man himself, in which were represented several archetypes. So we've got, the hothead character. We've got, the one that's a little more sensitive, quieter type. You seem to be a bit more of an anchor to your friend group as they face the horrors that are unfolding around them. Was that the intended approach of this character?
Sure. I think, she's a character that very much has got it together or feels like she needs to keep things together. And I think there were some scenes, unfortunately, that were cut from the script for
Right.
my character that I felt showed a little bit more of who she is and why she is the way she is. Some of it was interactions with her mother, and she is a piano player, and so she would get a lot of her emotional release through that. And I think she's a character that very much feels like she has to put on this front of being strong, having everything together. She has good grades. She's studying law. Um, she has her perfect relationship. Everything is going for her. And so I think when all of these things are happening around them, she feels very much a responsibility to sort of try to keep everyone together while struggling internally.
Hmm.
I think overall she is really strong in the way she handles the situations that are unfolding around her.
Yeah.
But it is a shame that we didn't get to see some of the more vulnerable sides of her, I think, in
Well,
the
yeah,
end.
it kind of, especially like in the birthday scene you mentioned earlier, that kind of presents a
Mm.
problem. Like, yeah, you feel like you have to be that, but you're also just trying to enjoy your birthday, man. Fuck, well, I got to talk to about this R.I.P. man stuff going on still. I'm just trying to enjoy one. Can I have one night, please?
No, exactly. Just give a girl a break,
Right.
okay? No, but that
It
was that one was really fun to do because it did get to show that she is, concerned, but it's still very much out of her control. And I think
right.
she realizes that as well.
I was gonna say you don't really get that break because by the end of the film, we mentioned in our spoiler-free reaction that we posted a couple of days ago, um, there's a twist ending, I guess, or at least the suggestion that the story isn't over. And
Mhm.
we won't comment on whether your character makes it out alive, but I was moved by a line that you gave toward the end of the movie referring to someone's gravestone. You say something to the effect of that dash between your birth year and death year. It's so small and seemingly insignificant, but it represents the content of your entire life. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I felt like that line carried so
Mhm.
much weight. partially due, to the idea behind it, conceptually, and partially due to your sort of wistful delivery of it. Did you have any favorite lines or moments from the production?
No, I think it's really fun that you brought that one up actually, because that is one of I think that is my favorite because it is so it makes everything it just puts the whole situation into how reflective you become when there is
Mhm.
death around you, of how ins or not insignificant we are, although we are, but sort of how fragile life is and how we don't know how much time we have here.
Right.
And obviously, I think for anyone thinks about that, but especially if you're surrounded by this much death, um, of losing a lot of close people around you, I think it's just this sort of like reminder of that we're not here forever, and we gotta appreciate and make the most out of the time that we do have here, and love the people we have while we have them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
sure.
that was so beautifully written, by Reese, and so yeah, no, that's definitely my favorite. We actually shot that. That was the first day we shot the that
Yeah.
scene. So it was quite a challenge. I
Wow.
had met everyone before except for Max, who's playing my boyfriend in the story.
Mhm.
Um, and so I was quite nervous about how that relationship was going to come across, and like how do we emulate that the whole story like has happened when we're shooting this on the first time we're seeing each other,
That's
meeting each other.
that's something that I've often wondered. Yeah, like most of the time for people not in the know, movies aren't shot chronologically. So for a scene like this that carries so much emotional weight, is it difficult to get yourself to that place, or can it be at times when you don't really have experience with the character at all? Like you said, you did get to spend more time as this character, exploring this character, but at the same time, if this is what they're throwing you on the first day, and
Right.
you have to deliver this line, or are there nerves attached to that? Is there any uncertainty that you experience going into something like that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, because at that point I think there was a week turnaround from being cast to when we shot that.
Mm,
And
Oh,
so it wasn't a lot of time, and I felt a lot of those nervous feelings of, am I going to do this justice? This is a lot of pressure doing this scene first. What's it going to come across like? And I have thought about it afterwards as well, and thought, oh, I wish I could just go back to that day and reshoot that, because I feel like in between shooting this and shooting the other scenes, so much time had passed. I felt like I'd grown so much as an actor just in a few months in between.
oh
And
yeah.
with the character and the story. And so I'm actually quite nervous to watch that.
yeah.
I'm sure like there's nothing, you can't regret anything, and
Right.
I'm just nervous to watch it because I don't know. I just really hope that I did that justice,
No,
basically.
no, in my humble opinion, and people can take that with as much, gravitas as they want, but I really enjoyed it. Like I said, obviously, it stuck with me enough to make a note about it and visit it in this interview. So obviously, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I'm glad to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Something else I'm curious about. We asked Megan the couple of times that we've had her on, specifically about the seller in that instance, but now we're talking about the R.I.P. man. Do you have a favorite, memory, or a day or a time on set, being able to commune with the rest of the people in the film that you can recall?
I think that's probably the birthday scene.
Yeah,
Um,
just a big party.
because yeah, yeah, exactly. Just a
Live
big
band.
party.
It was a good time. Yeah.
No, exactly. And the band was so good. It was so good. And we all got to, dance and have some fun because, a lot of the scenes are quite heavy because it is quite a heavy, situation that they're in.
Right.
But that scene sort of allowed us to explore the joy that the characters also feel in life and get sort of like a little break from
Yeah.
everything that was going on around them. And I think for all of us, it was just such a like nice bonding experience. Really.
That was certainly
Um,
one of very few moments of levity in the movie, because I think we made the comment, we did the spoiler-free reaction. there's not a lot of humor to be found in this movie. We noticed there were a lot of psychological elements to it, particularly in that scene in the middle of, you guys having this big fun dance party, birthday party. Yay, let's have a fun time. There's something that happens. We won't mention what it is, but there's really
Yeah.
something that throws you for a loop for a minute there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So it's not all, sunshine and rainbows in that scene, but
Right.
it was great getting to do that. And also I love scenes where it is like on such a high and then it goes to
Yes.
somewhere else very clearly.
Juxtaposition. Super important, turns out.
Exactly. So no, I think that was my favorite day on set. I think also that day I was really early, and so I did like a little pit stop in Brighton at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And I'd never been to Brighton before either, so that was a really happy memory that came with.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, as much as we want to dig into it, I think we should probably not
All right.
reveal too much about the R.I.P. man, you think?
So it looks like this is supposed to be publicly available around January of 2026, but in the meantime, do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to talk about?
I mean, I just wrapped on that short film that I did, so I'm not sure when that will be out, but I will be posting about that on my Instagram, Jasmine Kheen. And I am working on some projects here and there. Also writing something at the moment, and then the work I'm doing with my producer. So right now, a lot is in progress. So it'll
Right.
be
So nothing
will
by
be
name
out at some
likely
point.
to mention.
No, unfortunately.
Okay, that's all right. That's perfectly
Not yet,
fine.
not yet. But I will be updating everyone on Instagram and everything when things are coming out. And hopefully, if it looks like it's something interesting, then yeah, you can have a look. And
Yeah, for sure. Is there anywhere else that you can like pretty much plug your socials here? You know, your Instagram page. Do you
Yeah.
have, do you want your IMDb?
Any work online? How can people find you?
Hmm.
Let us know.
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's just I'm on IMDb, Jasmine Keen. Instagram is where I'm the most active for sure, and post more about my work and everything. If not, I have a YouTube channel as well where I have my show reel and some short silly projects as well. It's
Right.
also just Jasmine Keen. Um, yeah. And
All
then
right.
in the R.I.P. Man that will be coming out in January,
Of course,
hopefully,
of course. Can't
Right.
public
forget about
release.
that. Well,
Mm.
we had a great time talking today. We want to thank you once again for coming on the show. We're looking forward to it, especially since watching the R.I.P. Man the other night. We had a great time with it, and we had a great time talking to you today. We hope you did too.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. You guys are so lovely. It's such a
Yeah, of
lovely
course.
time.
Likewise. Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. We appreciate you watching. Once again, thanks for hanging out. As always, dreams are fleeting. Only nightmares last forever. Follow your nightmares.
They're here. Kill her, mommy. Kill her.
I bid you well.